up, everyone, and welcome back to our regularly scheduled programming of Rival Talk. Back on track for some normalcy now in what has been a football season full of just no normalcy. As always, I'm your host, and I'm joined by Marcus. How you doing?
Hello, I'm doing great. Glad to be back.
Yeah, so halfway through the season now. I mean, we call us the halfway point. I know it's kind of an odd number now with 17, but this basically is the halfway point now. And yeah, last year was crazy, but I feel like this year is just a bunch of weirdness. This year is just a lot of weird and crazy things going on.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those, and when you said halfway point, it's kind of almost sad in a way. Yeah. I don't ever want it to be over ever, and now we're like getting to the point of the tipping point very shortly here.
But look at it this way, that just means one step closer to spring training, right?
That's very true, and I don't usually. I mean, I look forward to it, but I don't usually look that forward to it. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
And now I am looking forward to it a lot.
Yeah, very, very much a lot. So.
Yep.
All right. Well, a lot of stuff has happened over the last couple of weeks since I've been gone. Specifically, really the last 24 hours. Yeah. So. Same trade deadline yesterday, and I mean yesterday happened, but things happened beforehand, and you want to go ahead and fill us in on one trade that went down that I'm sure you would love to talk about.
I mean we traded Jeff Wilson to the Miami Dolphins. Is that what?
Oh yeah, that's the real blockbuster right there. Yep.
Yes. Oh well, the 49ers did trade for Christian McCaffrey last week during our hiatus, and yeah, It's a steep price to pay. I mean, a second, a third, a fourth, and a fifth rounder for him. But I mean, so far I'm quite happy with it. I mean, it's just one of those things where if you think a guy's going to help out, and then you got to go get him sometimes. And I will say this: if he stays healthy, he's tailor made for the Shanahan and / Jimmy Garoppolo offense. And I don't know about Trey Lance next year, but he perfectly fits into what Jimmy Garoppolo can do on the field. And I guess we saw that last week, which we'll get into a little bit later. But yeah.
Now the key word here, though, is if he stays healthy, because he's someone who's had injury problems the last couple of years, who's joining a team that's just cursed at running back.
Yeah, well, I would say they're cursed at everything, injury-wise, that is. So, yeah, he's an injury-plagued player joins an injury-plagued team. Say that 10 times fast. And, yeah, we'll see what happens. I guess it is what it is. It will be what it will be.
And who else traded for him?
Oh yeah, I got him in my fantasy league from you, the commissioner, as well.
He spent one. We reunited for 1 week, and then he got traded to the Niners, and I sent him over to you. So, but
did you definitely Did you even start him 1 week?
Yeah, I did. I got 1 week out of him, so it was a nice little. We got back together, for 1 week, and then it was over. So classic high school type of relationship. You're together for a while.
I traded for him in my other league, actually, so I have him in 2 leagues now. I did the same kind of thing. So far you
fleeced me, though, because Davante Adams had such a spectacular week last week. So he was sick,
obviously, right? Didn't he have a flu or something?
Well,
so I mean,
that's no excuse. You obviously have won that deal, so congratulations.
Okay. 1 week later, I've won the deal. We'll see about that, but. Once Davante averages 30 the rest of the year and Christian McCaffrey gets hurt next week, then we'll see about
that. Speaking of trades, we'll quickly go over the rest of the stuff that happened. So another one that happened last week was Robbie Anderson, like the next day after that whole hoopla that happened with Carolina. The next day got traded to the Cardinals. Then you had James Robinson traded the Jets, so all those Travis Etienne truthers out there rejoice for that one, and he should take off the rest of the way.
He's been really good the past couple weeks, too.
Yes. Robert Quinn traded to the Eagles, so the rich get richer there.
Yeah.
This one I feel like honestly is underrated, and is why I went and picked him up immediately in fantasy when it happened. Kadarius Toney to the Chiefs. I know he's had some injuries, but when he's healthy, I think the Chiefs can really do some interesting things with him, because he's one of those.
And they got him during a bye week, so he should be ready to go the first time. He's like a poor man's Tyreek. He really is. So, and I think they want him to be what Mecole Hardman maybe has not become. So it could definitely be a big move for them.
Then you had Roquan Smith being traded to the Ravens. This was a shocker. I feel like T.J. Hawkinson in division being traded to the Vikings. So Lions doing typical Lions things there. Chase Claypool being traded to the Bears. Bradley Chubb to the Dolphins. So thank you, Denver. Officially going to have at least a top 10 pick now.
Hey, the Jets did get Jake Martin, so they're going to be just fine.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody knows who that is, by the way.
Calvin Ridley traded to the Jaguars. He traded to the team that he bet against, right? He bet on the Falcons to cover against the Jaguars. So yeah.
Holy crap, that's funny. I kind of forgot about that. Yeah. So wow.
And then Nyheim Hines to the Bills. This is one I feel like would be underrated too, because Hines, I feel like his skill set as a pass catching back can really fit into that offense. Because Singletary, he's been efficient as a runner, but he's not really much of a pass catcher. And then Moss hasn't done much, and Cook hasn't really taken off like he was expected to. So Hines,
I don't think they had a pass catching back, really, did they?
I mean, I think they tried making that Zach Moss, but he just didn't become it.
Yeah, he's not that guy.
This could be good for the Bills here, having Nyheim Hines there.
Agreed.
So yeah, that's all the hoopla that happened yesterday. I believe that just about got all of it. Might have missed one or two, who knows, but yeah.
Yeah, that T.J. Hawkinson one, just to piggyback off yours, that was a shock to me as well, and I'm wondering if he's about to be a free agent and the Lions just figured there was no way they're re-signing him, because I don't feel like they got great value for him, and they traded him into the division, and that was nuts.
I mean, I love it because I just traded for him a couple weeks ago, so now going to the Vikings, he'll be the number 2 option behind Jefferson, so I love it.
Yeah, rich get richer, as you said.
Yep. Gotta love it. All right, well, before we get into talking about our teams, quick update on the scoreboard. First off, congratulations on your forthcoming victory soon. You are right on my tail again. So, week 7, we kept the score in regular that week. You got +3 points. I got +2. And then last week, where we had it as just +1 or +0, you had a perfect week last week, so congratulations. You got 4 points, and then I only got 2 points.
Weird, I get a perfect week when we switch up the scoring, and instead of getting 6, I get 4. Awesome. Or instead of getting 5, I get 4.
I mean, hey, we agreed. We agreed to it.
We did.
So that puts you at 19 points and me at 20. So congratulations, you're once again coming back on me, and we'll soon pull away here, probably this week.
It's still an insurmountable lead. I don't know how I'm going to overcome that. So congratulations on your victory.
Anyways, that's where we stand now, heading into week 9. So yeah, 49ers, they had their game against the Rams. They continued their domination last week, and they got the bye coming up. So what do you got on the 49ers?
Yeah, I mean, I was about as low as I could be on them going into that Rams game, just because we had a few injuries the week before and just lost to who did we lose to? The Falcons? Was that? I'm already like...
Yeah, Falcons, yeah.
Yeah, I just lost to the Falcons, and we're 3-4, and I was like, well, if we go 3-5 into the bye, you can basically kiss the season goodbye. And it's one of those things where, we beat them 7 times in a row in the regular season, but how long can that possibly keep up? And that game was literally just more of everything I've seen in this 8-game winning streak against the Rams. I don't know what it is about.
Yeah, you want to share some? You want to share some trade secrets here?
I don't know what they are. There's something about Shanahan over McVay apparently in both of their philosophies must match up a certain way or something, other than the NFC Championship game, of course, which I would trade all 8 for. But, man, it was a pretty dominating victory over the Rams. It was more of the same, I would say. We started a little slow, I will say that. Jimmy Garoppolo started slow, the defense started slow, but end of second quarter, middle, and beginning of the second half, the defensive line just completely dominated and got to Stafford almost every other play, it seemed like.
Yeah, I was going to say your defense the last couple weeks had been kind of struggling, it seemed like.
It's been there's no other word for it. It's been absolute garbage the last couple weeks. And, yeah, we totally got back off the schneid in that game, I would say. And, yeah, Bosa looked like himself in the second half, which the first half he totally did not. It's just we became the 49ers that I know of the past couple of years in that second half especially. And even Garoppolo, I will say he made 2 passes in that game that I normally don't see him make. I think we all know with Garoppolo he throws short passes and lets the ball carriers / wide receivers do most of the work. Would you agree with that most of the time?
Yeah, I would agree with that, yeah.
Well, the pass to McCaffrey for the touchdown and the pass to George Kittle for the touchdown were both what I called legitimate quarterback throws, which I'm not.
Yeah, that one he had to McCaffrey, and that play that McCaffrey made on the ball was incredible.
Yeah, that was nuts. And I don't know if you know, I think actually the Kittle one was even better. It was almost like the catch from Montana to Dwight Clark, except on the other end of the end zone. He threw it to a spot that only Kittle could get, and he just doesn't do that very often. I don't see that stuff out of him, so that was nice. And McCaffrey, the new man, he did something that hasn't been done since I believe 2005. LaDainian Tomlinson was the last one. Yeah. Run, pass, and catch a touchdown in the same game, and he's so far everything I could have possibly hoped for. Even in that first game, he didn't play in the second half really because he didn't know the pass protections, and we were passing a lot in the second half of that Atlanta game, so he just wasn't out there. But
was it the Chiefs game? It was
Chiefs. That's what it was. I knew something didn't seem right. Yeah. I knew something didn't seem right. Yeah, that Chiefs game sucked. There's no doubt about it. So, yeah, I was about as low as I could possibly go going into last game, and they totally redeemed themselves for the most part and played 49er football, I would say. And, yeah, I love it. Going into the bye week after a loss is one of the worst things ever, and going into a bye week after a win is one of the best things ever because you feel free for a little bit and like you can enjoy the week off, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, and our injury-plagued team, we're getting
I was going to say coming
back after the bye, I believe, which is basically what I've seen the list of players. It's like a Pro Bowl roster for the most part. It's like Elijah Mitchell, our starting running back, or used to be starting running back. Eric Armstead, our starting defensive tackle, former All-Pro. Jason Verrett, former All-Pro cornerback.
Juice also, right?
Kyle Juszczyk, the Juice, he'll be back. Deebo Samuel will be back. Juwan Jennings, Mr. Third Down, will be back. It's basically just we're getting a lot of players back, so it's couldn't be better going into the bye right now, I would say.
What a shame.
Well, it could be a little bit better if there wasn't a certain team a couple games ahead or whatever, or a game ahead, whatever it is. Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. So, I guess
that's all I got. I'm happy with what happened, and they got back to 49er football, and we're getting healthy going into the stretch run.
Yep, it's such a shame.
Yeah, crying shame.
All right, well. Before we left a couple weeks ago, I was hoping just for at least a 1-1 split between these two games, and I thought for sure it was going to go the flip-flop way that I predicted it, because I thought we would beat the Chargers and then lose the Giants, and I thought for sure, knowing my luck would have flip-flopped the other way around, but we went ahead and we won both games, and not just won both games, we won them both pretty handily too. Like, it was relative. I mean, you could say relative ease. I know it was this
defense, one, man. The defense, you were right. It's coming around.
Yep, I've got some stats here, some numbers to eventually get to here with the defense, but it's starting to form into a top 10 unit here, and I don't think it's out of the realm possibility to say that it could even be a top 5 unit by the last couple of weeks. So a lot of this, honestly, is thanks in part. It's crazy as it feels to say. It's like when the time jump to 10 years ago, Bruce Irvin. The return of Bruce Irvin really seems to have helped, like, not just on the field. He is still, even at his age, I think he's like 32, 33 or something like that. He's still performing. I mean, there was a play last week, I don't know if you saw it. He shoved Daniel Jones right into Saquon Barkley to make the tackle that way. Like, he just burst right through the line. As soon as Jones handed the ball off to Barkley, there's Bruce just shoving Jones right into Barkley to make the tackle, and Barkley was like an 8-yard loss. I'd never seen anything like that. And the fact that he's still making plays at his age is incredible, and it's just a lot of it.
How does he play? Like, what's his snap count like? Do you know? I haven't actually seen him.
I want to say it's less than 50% probably, just because of his age.
Sure.
And keep him in the rotation. But I wasn't expecting to really do much on the field, which he has been. I was expecting more for the locker room and to help the young guys get around and with scheme stuff and all that. And that's really what he has helped with too. And I know a couple weeks ago, Ryan Neal after the Chargers game and mentioned that after the Saints game, the players all got together and they decided every Friday they're having team meetings now together to go over the game plan, the schemes. Because what was the one thing I was saying the first few weeks when defense sucked? It's it's got to just be the communication, like getting used to the schemes and all that, and playing together. And that's like exactly what it's been. What's been fixed now is getting the communication, getting on the same page, making tackles, and stopping the run. All of that just suddenly has just clicked and just completely changed and been fixed. As the defense shut down Barkley here this past week. I got a stat here. Let me pull it up. Against Barkley, let's see, where is it? Tell the dogs to hold on.
Yeah. They don't want to hear this stat.
All right, so Barkley, his week-by-week numbers here coming in. So week 1, he had 164 yards, 9.1 per carry. 72, 3.4. Week 3, 81, 5.8. Week 4, 4.7 yards per carry, 146. Week 5, 70 and 5.4 per carry. Week 6, 83 and 3.8 per carry. Week 7, 110, 4.6 per carry. And then against Seattle, his lowest numbers of the season, 53 yards and just 2.7 yards per carry. And this is against a team that really couldn't do anything against the run just a few weeks ago. So it really is incredible how they just suddenly have clicked and turned it around.
Just incredible. You're right. That's the word. It's so awesome.
It is. And some other statistics here. So over the last 3 weeks, so not only are they first in rush defense DVOA, but the difference between them and the next closest team is the same as second and eighth. So they're far and away, the last few weeks, the best team against the run. When for the first few weeks, they were like historically bad. So I feel like this just continues a trend. I don't get what it is the last couple of years. Like the first like part of the season, they're just really bad on defense. But then at some point, by the halfway part of the season, it just clicks and flips. This is the third straight year now they've done this. And it just it makes no sense. But it is what it is, huh?
Yeah, I guess. And like, I hate all of this because I agreed with everything we said at the beginning. Like with you, what you said about you. I mean, you knew this team wasn't going to suck. You knew that the defense would get better. You knew that they were underrated. And I agreed with everything you said. You know I did. And I hated every second of it. And I wanted to be wrong, and it's not wrong. Yeah. There's no doubt about it.
Of course, there's one thing that I didn't expect to happen, which we'll get to here soon. But I got some more numbers on the defense because I'm sure you love hearing all this.
Yeah.
Over the last 3 weeks, the Seahawks defense leads the NFL in quarterback pressures with 29. They lead the NFL in sacks with 14. They not just the defense, but the Seahawks overall lead the NFL in point differential at plus 38. And the defense over the last few weeks is second in yards per play. And then they have 9 players grading it. Now, of course, we've talked about this for PFF. Take with it what you will. But they have 9 players grading out at 70 plus by PFF. So
why don't you go back to Arizona?
Well, you don't like what you hear?
No, I'm sick of this already. I think we should end this call right now. God.
Now to get to that one thing that, sure I did talk about at the beginning of the season, coming into this year that we were definitely being underrated. I can remember all the power rankings lists and people saying that we were going to be the worst team in the league. We'll have a top 3 pick and all that. And like I said, I know you were too, saying that we're not going to be that bad. Yep. I know I had us somewhere around 8 to 9 wins probably. The one thing, obviously, I didn't expect that really nobody expected is Geno Smith. I mean, every week it's like...
You expected out of Drew Lock.
Okay. On that note, remember a little over a year ago, I told you who was better than Russell Wilson?
You did, and you're finally right. I mean, you said it as a joke. We were joking about it, and you're actually 100% right at this point.
So here's some more numbers.
You didn't mean to. You didn't mean to be right, but you are.
Did I? Didn't I, though?
I don't know. I can't prove it.
So here's some more numbers for you. I'm sure you'll love hearing. Geno Smith's NFC rankings. Passer rating, he's number 1. Passing yards, he's number 3. Completion percentage, number 1, which is also in the NFL, he's number 1. Passing touchdowns in the NFC, he's number 1, tied for number 1. QBR, number 1, and yards per attempt, number 4. So there's that key, because I know people like to look at the completion percentage and say, oh, well, what's his completion percentage if he's going more than, 20 yards or whatever, if he's just dumping it off. But that's not the case here. He is throwing the ball down the field at a high rate and still has that high completion percentage, which is incredible.
Every game I've seen, he's been extremely accurate, basically from low to mid-range to deep throws. It's kind of crazy, actually.
And then some of his NFL ranks in completion percentage, like I said, he's number 1 at 72.7. I almost need to check in. Doesn't Drew Brees hold a record for that? Isn't it like? Isn't that past the record right now?
76 or 78.
76. Okay, never mind.
I swear that sounds like it was like mid to upper 70s.
I'm pretty sure it was Drew Brees, right? Wasn't it? I'm pretty sure.
I'm almost positive. Yeah.
Pass rating, Gino's third in the NFL at 107.2, and then pass touchdowns and interceptions, he's 13-3, which is third. So I mean, it feels like almost every week people expect him to fall off, and I don't want to say I expect him to fall, but it's almost like every week, like I do hold my breath a little bit, like, okay, is this for real? But I mean, we're halfway through the season now, like, and it's still
okay. Wait a second. So he has 13 touchdowns and is number one in the NFC. Does that seem like low?
Well, with the way the NFL has been this year, I mean,
that's just odd. Like that means that the leader in touchdowns might have less than 30 by the time the season's over, which. That hasn't happened very often these past few years.
That's what happens when Tommy Boy and Aaron need to retire.
It's true. Single Tom is not getting the job done.
No, he is not. So, but yeah. So, it's just. And the thing with this defense that I know you'll love hearing is it's only going to get better because of how young it is. So,
yeah.
Watching last week's game, it had shades of the 2012 team, like. Just the youngness, the hungriness that they have, flying around the field, making big hits. I
think you remember after your draft, I think I texted you and said you nailed it, and I hate you because of how much I loved your draft, and it's almost like every single player has hit in that draft.
And we haven't even talked about Charles Cross, Abe Lucas, and Kenneth Walker. I mean,
yeah. Those were three of the players I really loved out of your draft, and they're like those maybe what. And I know I loved Kobe Bryant, and I know I didn't know the other guy,
Tariq Woolen.
Yeah, yes, I didn't know him, but look at that, he might be the best one of all.
Yeah, that's our Richard Sherman 2.0. So
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this past week was just a complete game all the way around. It wasn't just the offense and defense, but the special teams as well coming through. A couple big turnovers, takeaways on special teams, forcing some fumbles. Will Dissly in on both of them, so that was fun to see. But yeah, it's just all around. I mean, this team is only going to get better as the season goes along because of how young they are, and Gino only seems to be getting better and better each week. So unless there's any like injuries, knock on wood, that happens, like. I can legitimately sit here and say I believe the Seahawks can win the NFC West this year, and they're going to get either the 3 or 2 seed.
No doubt about it. It's in my opinion, it's between two teams right now. I don't think the other two are going to get out of that cellar that they're in, if you ask me. But who knows?
Yeah, what a shame for the Cardinals and Rams.
Oh man, I can't believe the Cardinals gave all that money to Kyler, and he hasn't really lived up to it. That's just a shame.
They should have given him more money.
He wanted more money, of course, and I cannot believe a guy that doesn't really care about studying film is not making it happen in the NFL right now. That's just crazy to me.
I mean, I guess McVay and Donald, they should have retired.
God, I mean, I wonder if somehow the Bengals would have got that done if in the Super Bowl, if they would have retired or if they would have came back. But it would have been nice if the Bengals could just take care of business. And then they get all upset, and then they retire, and then the Rams still, because they look like they're on the way down to me. I don't know if that's.
I mean, it's like they might as well retire because Donald. I mean, Donald's not really Donald this year. McVay, obviously, the offense sucks this year. Like, yeah,
it seems like they pulled a Tom Brady and maybe came back when maybe they weren't all in. And man,
maybe they should just tank and use all those picks they have. Oh wait.
Oh, yeah, that's a sore subject. Yeah, but yeah, it's too bad that they got a Super Bowl out of it. That's all, because it would have been nice if they got nothing. That's all.
Yeah, but it is what it is.
Yep.
All right, so obviously you don't have any keys this week because you're on bye. So keys are to get healthy, which you are doing.
Yeah, hopefully.
So for the Seahawks, the keys this week, a couple weeks, they just played the Cardinals a few weeks ago, but they didn't have Hopkins then. That was right before Hopkins came back. So key number 1 is going to be to key on Hopkins. He's been targeted at an insane rate as usual since he's been back. I think he leads the league in targets and receptions and receiving yards in the last couple weeks since he's been back. So key on him. I know it's not in our style to have someone follow him, but I like to see the rookie maybe follow Hopkins around a little bit this week. Woolen on Hopkins. Sure. I'd like to see that matchup. Key number 2 is going to be jump out early. The faster we can start, I think the better it be. I know the Cardinals have had a couple of comebacks this year, but We kind of did this against them a couple weeks ago, and I feel like when I watch Cardinals games, I know sometimes it makes some comebacks, but when they get jumped out early, I feel like Kyler becomes a little more anxious and a little more unsettled.
100%. Yep. And Cliff as well. He's already a bad play caller, and when he falls behind, it gets even worse.
So jumping out early is going to be key. And then key number 3 is to keep contain and spy on Kyler, because the last time we did play them, he did kill us on a couple runs. I'm hoping the Call of Duty hangover is still there, because it just released this past week. So hopefully that hangover with Call of Duty is still there and he's still focused on that. So, but yeah, so those are my 3 keys: key on Hop, jump out early, and contain and spy. Keep spy on Kyler.
I hope he has a good ranking in Call of Duty Online, because he's got to have something in his life, right? Well, besides the $45 million, but man, football just ain't happening for him right now.
Nope. What a shocker.
Oh, shame.
All right, well, before we get to our picks, we got an update on Pooch picks. I'm sure you wouldn't care to update this. Let's just throw this out there right now. Henry is 3-5, and he picked Arizona this week. So yeah, there's that.
Man. And well, like you said though, before the call, he has matched his season total maybe from last year, perhaps. But this is unconfirmed.
I believe he did. I believe he did match his season total. I know he got benched, so I think.
Yes, that is true. So, and it is very difficult to be as bad as he was last year, but he's taking baby steps. So there's that.
So then, in second place, got the OG at 5-3. So I mean, yeah, Henry's got an uphill climb to even get to second place.
Yeah, I'm not putting any more pressure on him to make the correct picks. Apparently he's just gonna have fun the rest of the year and not really put any effort into it.
Are we sure he's not playing Call of Duty?
Well, yeah, he doesn't have opposable thumbs, but I'm sure he could figure it out.
So yeah, I got the OG at 5-3. He's the only one picking Seattle this week. So Drake is 6-2, and he's picking Arizona. So yeah.
Okay.
So the OG should hopefully be tied with Drake at the end of this week.
Hopefully not.
Which would put Henry 3 behind everyone.
Well, that's fine. He just needs to gain ground wherever he can, and this would be would be a crying shame if he gained a game on one of your dogs this week with the Arizona win.
All right, and so now on to our picks. Back to normal scoring, normal week here. So your lock. What do you got for your lock this week?
Oh, the lock. I really only saw one that I was comfortable with, and I'm sure you're the same way. I got Eagles over Texans by 7.
Eagles by 7. Yeah, I was looking at the Eagles game, but then I know the Jets are doing good, but I feel like just with the level the Bills are on, I feel like this should be a lock. So I'm taking the Bills over the Jets by 10 as my lock this week.
Okay.
All right, what do you got for upset?
Well, upset, I am going to ride the Commanders and Taylor Heineke wave, and I'm going Washington over Minnesota by 1.
That is spicy.
Yeah, they've gotten me 2 in a row, 2 upset picks in a row. So
don't you know to quit while you're ahead? You got to quit while you're ahead. That's the number 1 rule.
That's true. I know. I'm not good at that. So I'll sink with the ship.
My upset this week. Chicago's been playing some decent football lately. Fields has been coming around. I know they just traded away Smith and Robert Quinn.
Oh, Robert Quinn, yeah.
But I do believe the Bears. I believe this is a trap game for the Dolphins this week, especially after all that. So I'm going to take the Bears over the Dolphins by 4. They're in Chicago, so.
Fields has been playing better, and he got Claypool added to his repertoire. So
they're finally allowing Fields to play. I feel like to his game, like getting his legs going too. With that, that's what I feel like.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how long he's going to last running 10 times a game, but who knows?
He's got the build for it though.
It's true. He does, and it's not like he's getting. I've watched a couple of games, weirdly enough, and it's not like he's getting just hammered out there. He's pretty. Although he does need to slide a little better sometimes, but he's pretty smart about his runs, I would say.
Yeah. All right. So with your bye week this week, you're going to have 2 random games. So the first random game you're going to get, we could call this the disappointment bowl of 2 disappointing teams this year: the Rams at the Bucks. Ooh. So I guess the question for you is: are the Rams going to go 3-5, or are the Bucks really going to go 3-6?
Wow, Rams at Bucks. I mean, I'm going to try not to overthink this and just say that the the Bucs they're gonna win at home by 3, and I think they're still a slightly better team than LA. Although, like you said, it's kind of tough. It's they're both not playing very well, but I still think Buccaneers will take it. Bucs by 3.
Think single Tom will finally get going?
No, probably not. It'll be a 13-10 ugly fest.
All right, what's my random one?
Okay, your random game is Raiders at Jaguars.
Yeah,
that's what I thought when I saw it, so that's why I gave it to you.
Ugh, jeez. I feel like the Raiders are due to bounce back after last week, especially Adams.
The Jaguars have been close almost every game, it seems like, and the metrics like them, but they just can't break through and win. So they can't possibly win this game, I would say. You probably should pick the Raiders.
That's what I'm leaning towards.
Well, you better do it.
Yeah, I feel like the Raiders are due to bounce back after last week. I'm gonna take the Raiders by 1.
Got it.
All right, the second random game for you. I'm gonna try and see if I can swing this my way a bit in the points wise, since this is my upset. Miami at Chicago.
Yeah, I want to pick Miami quite badly, but I almost kind of agree with you that this is a trap game and it's at Chicago.
The Dolphins did just get Bradley Chubb.
Yeah. I mean, about Bradley Chubb, I do think he's pretty dang good, but I don't know if I would call him a defense difference maker. I mean, it's definitely good for Miami. They need a pass rusher, so golly. I mean, it seems easy. It seems too easy, and it would seem stupid for me to. I know what you're doing, and I'm gonna play right into it and pick Miami by 1.
All right. Well, congratulations on your victory on that one.
You know that.
Actually, the good thing for me, though, actually, is I can't lose any points on this. So.
Oh, yeah, we do need to figure out, by the way, since randoms are either 1 or 0, and home is -1 or 0, we got to figure out.
Yeah, it's just 1 or 0.
So, yeah. Okay, so this like only the random 2 is 1 or 0, or only the random 1?
Both random games are just 1 and 0.
Okay, but see, then that's not quite fair because you have a better chance to lose a point, and I don't. Because you have 2. I have 2 games where I can't lose a point.
All right, well then fine. We'll make the Miami-Chicago +1 or -1.
Sure. Why not?
All right.
I just feel like we got to make it at least.
Or here, I'll give you the choice. Do you want to make the Miami-Chicago the +1 -1, or the Rams-Bucks +1 -1?
Oh my God! They both are equally. I'll do Miami.
All right. I'll make a note of that. +1 -1. All right. And then for the Seahawks-Cardinals, I mean, divisional games you never know, but with the way the Hawks are playing, the momentum they have, you know, I really hope this is a trap game to me. I feel like, and this could be a big letdown and disappointment, and they really need this for the division because the Niners are 3-0 in the division now. So
that is correct.
Yeah, they really need this if they really want to keep that dream alive of winning the division. So I'm taking the Seahawks by 3. So hopefully they don't let me down here to keep up what they've been doing. So Seahawks by 3.
Man, I see perfect weeks for everybody except for Miami. For you.
For me? Oh, well, congratulations on your victory then.
But we know it won't happen. I always think it's going to happen, and it never does. So you'll have a commanding lead after this, and then I won't be able to recover.
All right. Oh, there's one more thing I want to talk about real quick with the Seahawks that was kind of unusual, at least for him. I don't know if you saw, but after the game, Pete Carroll, he kind of got into it a little bit as far as, you know, kind of feeling himself and calling out some of the doubters, because I can't remember exactly what he said, but he was talking some about how, you know, in the offseason, people talking about how, you know, he's lost it, he can't keep up with the new game and all that, his style of football and all that. So he was calling out the doubters, which is really Pete Carroll. I'd say this year he's changed a little bit. Like, you could tell he's got a chip on his shoulder, and you can tell.
Well, and he doesn't have weird guy holding him down, making everybody uncomfortable in the building. So
true,
yeah.
Too, yep. All right. So before we go, we are bringing something back this week. top 5 lists. We're bringing back top 5 lists. So, at least just for this week. If we can think of anything else, we'll keep it going. But yeah,
Sure.
So top 5s that we're going to do since we're halfway through the season. This has been obviously a crazy year. It's been full of surprises. So we're going to do top 5 lists for the top 5 surprises from this season. So, does one of the dogs have a surprise I'd like to get in there?
Yeah, he. I think he's trying to tell me something, but I can't understand.
Who was that?
Yeah. That was Henry.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say it's not a surprise that Henry sucks again this year.
Yeah, no, and whatever Henry says, I don't listen to because he doesn't know what he's doing apparently. So no.
All right. So if you wanna start it off.
Yeah, sure. And I want to preface this by saying there's some things that might seem like they're getting left off, but I
you can give an honorable mention or two.
Yeah, these aren't even honorable mentions. They're basically things that might seem surprising, but I was kind of expecting them, so I'm leaving them off. And one of them is Aaron Rodgers and the Packers not being very good. Russell Wilson not being very good. The Eagles being pretty good. I didn't think they would be. That's a little bit of a caveat. I thought they'd be good, but not this good. You thought they would be this
listen
good.
To me.
Yeah, and then the Rams not being very good. I expected that as well. So those are kind of surprising, but they're not that surprising to me is what I maybe was trying to say here. So I'll roll through the 5 here. Number 5, Single Tom. I am surprised that Tom Brady is not doing very well this year. I'm a little surprised by that, I will say. I thought he'd be having a way better year than this. Maybe not vintage Tom, but I thought it'd be not crap Tom.
Father Time is undefeated.
Yeah. Father Tom has caught up to him. So, number 4, surprise, I would say the Atlanta Falcons. I think they're a little bit better than I expected, although I did have a lot of faith in their head coach. I'm a big Arthur Smith fan. I like his offense. I just like he preaches physicality as well. I didn't maybe think they'd be in line to win the NFC South. So there's that. And I got 2 and 3 kind of switcheroos. Either one could be one, and they're both New York teams, the Giants and the Jets. Both surprising to me. And I guess maybe I put the Jets as number 2 and the Giants in number 3. But either way, both of them being this good, or at least this good right now, is pretty surprising. Mm-hmm. And we'll probably have the same number 1, so I'll just let you take the clout for that since he's your guy. So I'm not even going to mention it, and you can go into your 5.
All right. With my honorable mention, now that you mentioned, I'm going to add in a last-minute addition here to my honorable mention. I didn't think about it. Yeah, the Falcons definitely have been a surprise. I think just that division in general has been a surprise. They're 4-4 and leading that division. You can say the same for NFC West as well. My other honorable mention would be the Rams sucking. I mean, I know you kind of expected it, but honestly, I didn't really expect them to suck because they were running back basically the same team and they have no salary cap. So,
that is true.
I guess it goes to show that it doesn't matter how much money you have and can spend. It doesn't matter, I guess. So
that is true.
I mean, it doesn't matter if you're going to keep throwing the ball to Cooper Kupp 50 times a game, and teams eventually catch on to that. So
yeah, I mean, obviously he's very great, but at some point you got to do something else.
They're going to have to now because that ankle is not going to be able to uphold that. So
that's true. Like the last play of the game too. Crazy.
So then going into my number 5, I kind of combined it. Rodgers and Brady both looking their age. So Father Time obviously has copped both of them. I mean, they just look bad, and obviously their teams are suffering for it. So I would definitely expect both of them to retire at the end of this year at this point.
Yep.
Number 4. Now I know preseason I talked about that they weren't going to be as good as people were expecting them to be, but I think how bad him and they have been is surprising. So the Broncos and Russell being as bad as they are, I didn't expect them to be this bad. I mean, I kind of expected people to kind of see, okay, maybe he's not that good and this team isn't that good, but not at the how low they're playing, not at what they're at.
I would agree with you.
Number 3, I'm lumping this one together along with you, but I'm just lumping into one. Both New York teams with winning records. I know the Giants were my dark horse coming into the year, but I didn't have them being this good. And I don't think me or anyone had the Jets being 5-3. So both New York teams being, both New Jersey teams, we should say technically, being as good as they are with winning records.
And somehow the Jets are winning without any quarterback play whatsoever, which is also kind of weird.
Yeah, that says a lot to Robert Saleh, though. So.
It does. He's a stud.
And number 2, now I know I talked this team up and hyped them up all season since last year before the season even ended, but the Eagles being undefeated, that's a shocker. I didn't expect them to be undefeated at this point and playing the way they are. I mean, I expect them to be really, really good, yes, but not like this. So
yeah.
And yes, number 1, as I guess you have your number 1 as well. You know, I talked about the Seahawks being not as bad as people thought, but I mean the biggest X factor here is Geno Smith himself being a legitimate MVP candidate, and the Seahawks being 5-3 and sitting atop the NFC West, and just today they're in number 8 in the power ranking. So it's just, I'm loving every minute. I mean, when you come into a season not really expecting much, I mean, I expected like 7-8 wins or so, and expected the season to be better this year than last year at least, and be more fun. But when you come in with not very many, high expectations necessarily, and then things actually go really well, it's a lot of fun because you didn't have expectations, and it turns out, they're actually really good. So
that reminds me of 2019 with the 49ers after going 2-14 or whatever it was the year before. And then going to the Super Bowl. So
if the Seahawks, if they can really make this run, and I mean, at least make it to like the conference championship, that would be one heck of a story. I feel like, especially for Geno, like that would have to be. I mean, can you call Geno like a comeback player of the year necessarily? I know he hasn't had.
I think he probably could if he. I think because they do that for bench players that weren't starting the year before, and he wasn't really a starter.
But the thing is though, like he wasn't ever necessarily like good necessarily to begin with when he first played. So that's why I'm saying, can it necessarily be a comeback?
I mean, I almost feel like he could be comeback player of the year because I think the wording on that is pretty vague. It's not like you have to have missed the season with injury the year before. I think they kind of can tailor it to the situation.
So it could kind of be like a Ben Simmons type comeback player of the year.
Yeah, right. Ben, you're doing great this year. Your Nets are awesome.
We'll get into that later. Don't call them my Nets. I can't support that.
All right, my Lakers are just as bad.
Yeah, so I can't support that team and those people anymore. So
yeah, it's bad.
But yeah, anyways, back on topic. Forget comeback player of the year though. I mean, Geno's going to win freaking MVP. I'm all on board that train. So
I said it before, I think I said it first a few weeks back. If he gets his first, I think over text or whatever, he'll probably get the MVP vote. One vote at the very least before Russell ever did.
Yep, it's going to be hilarious when he gets more votes than Russell ever has before Russell. So yeah,
it's hard for me. I mean, I hate Russell Wilson so much that all of this is very funny and enjoyable to me, but it's also a double-edged sword because it's not at all because it's the Seahawks. But you know what I mean.
Because
I can enjoy the Russell Wilson suckage easily, but it comes with the other end of it, which I've just learned to accept right now.
Yeah,
I just need the 49ers to play their game. Yeah,
the Seahawks making a deep playoff run and having a top 5 or top 10 pick next year. So. And 4 picks within the top 40 potentially. So,
yeah,
it's great. It's good times over here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, but I mean, hey, it's going to get like said though on Facebook this week. It's going to get spicy in Rival Talk this year. So
it sure is. It's finally Rival Talk is so back.
Yeah, it's back like it was never here because it never was. So.
Yep.
All right. Well. Before we go, we haven't done for our 8th or 9th straight week. Should we do it?
Oh, yeah, I will say this. I wonder what Tom thinks about Sam Ehlinger being the starting quarterback in Indianapolis right now.
Yeah, that's how sad, huh?
Oh, very sad. And they traded Naheem Hines. So Tom is not having a good time right now is what I would probably say.
A thought and a prayer for Tom.
Yes, thought and prayer.
One of each.
Keep the streak alive.
All right. Well, anything else you want to add in?
I got nothing. I'm good to go.
This went a little long. That's what she said, but
that is what she said.
It was satisfactory. Kept me smiling and happy. Hey, the dogs agree too, I guess.
Jeez. Well, they must be hungry, and that is the next thing I'm going to do after this call is feed the dogs. Okay, that's good. That's enough.
All right. Well,
I heard nothing. I don't know what they're barking at.
All right. Well, I just want to say ahead of time, congratulations on pulling ahead of me and never looking back after this week. So congratulations on your victory.
I know what you're trying to do, and it's not gonna work. I'm up one, or you're up one now, and it'll probably be 3 or 4 by next week.
Yeah. Well, we'll see about that. We know how it's going to go.
Yeah.
All right.
My picks are as good as my fantasy team. Terrible.
Well, you still have a chance to make the playoffs, though. So.
Right. We'll see about that. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all we got for this week then. Good to be back on normal schedule here. So, yeah, we'll see. First half of the season pretty much done, so we'll see what the second half has in store. We'll see if the Seahawks and Geno can keep it up and if this season continues to be as crazy as it's been so far. So, thank you for watching the video. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter. And Seahawks Nation, let's fly.